Hello folks, and welcome to Jack Reviews Musicals. My name is Jack, and I am a musical theater superfan based in St. Louis, Missouri. This is my YouTube channel where I share my thoughts on all of the musical productions that I see in the area. In this video, I will be sharing my thoughts on the Muny's now closed 4th production of their 107th season, Evita, which played July 18th through the 24th of 2025. This was the Muny's first production of Lloyd and Tim Rice's masterwork since 2001. After many smaller-scale performances in St. Louis, amateur, professional, and educational, including the Repertory Theater of St. Louis in 2019, which won the St. Louis Theater Circle Award for Outstanding Production of a Musical. However, the Muny's production is considerably different from that one and every other production I have seen before it. Director and choreographer Josh Rhodes aimed for this production to paint a gritty, authentic, and cinematic portrayal of the musical subject, Eva Peron. Eva Peron, born Eva Duarte, was the First Lady of Argentina during the presidency of her husband, Juan Peron, from 1946 until her untimely death in 1952 from cervical cancer at the age of 33. Born into poverty, Duarte moved to Buenos Aires, the capital of Argentina, at the age of 15 to pursue a career in acting. 10 years later, after her career takes off, she meets Colonel Juan Peron at a charity event to benefit the victims of the San Juan earthquake of 1944. Eva and Juan immediately hit it off, both of them sharing an ambition for climbing their way to the top of their respective fields, and a passion for social justice and economic equality. And so on that basis, the two fell in love, and they married the next year. And the year after that, Juan Peron was elected president of Argentina, with a lot of his success resting on Eva leading a highly combative, passionate campaign effort, which promised political independence, economic prosperity, and equal rights. The platform of the Peron specifically appealed to Argentina's descamisados, the shirtless ones, the low-income working class who are treated poorly not just by the country's elite, but by their own military. It was from the elite in the military that the Perons would face opposition to their platform, known as Peronism. After the election, the Perons would partake in the Rainbow Tour, where they would promote their ideology to the rest of the world. But Eva soon realizes, however, that the rest of the world thinks of Peronism as kind of like fascism in Germany, Italy, and Japan. From this, Eva would then found the Eva Peron Foundation as a vessel for the charity work that she promised the descamisados, even to the point of resorting to money laundering to fulfill her promises. And so when Eva Peron died, she was given a state funeral, often reserved for heads of state, complete with a full-length Catholic requiem mass, upon which she would be bequeathed the title of Evita, spiritual leader of Argentina. Her work to create a new Argentina would leave a lasting legacy for the country and its people. For better or worse, Evita is an interesting musical, primarily because of a storytelling device that Lloyd and Tim Rice used in Jesus Christ Superstar before it, and would later be used in musicals like Hamilton. The narrative is told to the audience by a figure who is critical of the central figure the story's about. In Evita's case, that narrator is Che, an Argentinian citizen who may or may not be Che Guevara. It's honestly kind of confusing. Che is critical of Eva Peron, both as a person and as a politician. He throws some rather heavy accusations at Eva, including her success wasn't actually earned, that she essentially slept her way to the top, starting with her brief fling with singer Augustine Magaldi. The musical certainly doesn't shy away from this. Eva has a tango with every lover that she had between Magaldi and Juan. The soldiers of Juan's army have a whole song, Peron's Latest Flame, where they essentially slut-shame Eva. One of the most iconic songs from the show, Another Suitcase in Another Hall, is about how lost Juan's ex-mistress feels now that Eva has shut her out. Even Eva dyeing her hair from her natural dark color to pure blonde is called out as a show of her supposed purity. Che furthermore makes the assertion that Eva's platform of workers' rights and her charitable foundation, namely the money laundering that she committed in order order to keep the money rolling in, led to a lot of things that made Argentina the way that it is today. Austerity, nationalism, communism, populism. Even the first song from Che is him commenting on the spectacle of Eva's funeral. Oh, what a circus. This material really does not paint Santa Evita in a pretty light, does it? Eva Peron was an activist obsessed with progress and spoke of promise for the future of working class people, but only got to where she went through manipulation, exploitation, and sheer brute force, which sounds like the playbook for a lot of politicians these days, in particular the politicians in which their countries are increasingly becoming authoritarian. And as for the Muny's production, they actually did a really great job of reflecting that reality of the Peron's rise to power. Their vision of Argentina from the 30s to the 50s is very gritty, very unromanticized, and very unglamorous. Director and choreographer Josh Rhodes staged the show to make it feel like a documentary playing live on stage. The show's opening moments are the people of Argentina going through their daily lives before hearing of Eva's death. Eva's grandiose funeral procession has an epic reveal to it. At the beginning of Act 2, there is a languid build-up to Eva's ascent up the staircase to the balcony of the Casa Rosada, where she sings the most famous song in the show, Don't Cry for Me, Argentina, a heartfelt declaration of love for her country and her people. In a stroke of genius from Josh Rhodes, Don't Cry for Me, Argentina was played to the audience, with the balcony being at the very front of the Muny's thrust, and the ensemble sitting in the amphitheater with the audience, as if we too are the descamisados. The brutality from the military, the snobbishness from the elite are thoughtfully choreographed, and the songs that are rather heavy and introspective feature interpretive tango, which was choreographed and performed by Junior Sovilla and Noelia Guerrero. The movement in this production was authentically Argentine. It was kinetic and vibrant, dare I say thrilling. What makes it so thrilling is Josh Rhodes' use of cinematic language. Pans, sweeps, zoom-ins, and a large part of why that cinematic language was so successful on stage was because of the production design. The costumes by Brian Hemeseth and wigs by Kelly Jordan fit the mid-century South America setting perfectly, with striking uses of dark and neutral colors for the descamisados, Che's rebellious greens, Peron's crisp navy suits, and Eva's iconic dresses that chart her progress up the political totem pole. Chief among them, the balcony dress, the reveal of which received a well-earned applause, though that effectiveness came from Adam Cook's set, a monochromatic wonderland of iron wrought columns, arches, and platforms, rotating around the stage to create cinematic transitions. The pièce de résistance was the grand central staircase of the Casa Rosada, gloriously rendered by Adam Cook. The way that it contributed to the massive build-up of Eva's entrance in Act 2, and Eva's literal descent into her cancer, was so satisfying to watch. There's painted booms of the streets of Argentina and a large mural of the Perons, lit in a red haze by lighting designer Paige Sieber. Sieber's lighting in this show was amazing to behold. The stage alternating between cold and stark during the very cynical moments, and the genuine moments bathed in a warm amber glow, and the moments guided by pure, raw emotion bathed in blood red. One unique aspect of Sieber's lighting design is her use of spotlights. Not just the ones above the stage, but on stage too. There's a series of spotlights that get rolled across the stage during moments where Eva is being opportunistic and attention-seeking, flashing brightly on and off in sync with the music. It was an effective way to let the audience into Eva's mind as a person who is constantly performing, not unlike today's politicians or influencers even. Even the video design by Stephen Royal, it creates spotlights for characters during their darkest moments, reminding the audience that even their turmoil is a performance. This is a drama, and we are going to give this the grandiosity it deserves. Royals Projections also use Eva's iconic victory pose on the balcony of the Casa Rosada, creating a striking stage picture, and features locations shown from angles that make it look like we are voyeurs peeping into private moments, my favorite of which being the charity event at which Eva and Juan Peron meet. The thing that anchors Evita is the tug of war that Eva Peron is playing between her love for Juan and her love for her people, represented by Che, who, by the way, is a character that does not respect her. That alone should tell you something. All three of the actors playing them perform their parts of this push and pull with honesty, intensity, and mindfulness. Eva Peron is played by Katerina McCrimmon, coming off the heels of her playing Fanny Bryce in the national tour of the Funny Girl revival, and she certainly has just that little touch of star quality. McCrimmon is a very capable leading lady, with the monumental task of portraying 18 years of Eva Peron's life, and she does so with poise, confidence, and a voice that dominates the stage. Her changes in personality from a vivacious young actress to a controlling politician was utterly convincing. You would not believe that this same actress pulled off both Buenos Aires and Don't Cry for Me, Argentina flawlessly. McCrimmon made Eva's descent into illness captivating, and she does something with this character that I think is very important for actors taking on this role to try and replicate. Never giving a winking eye to the audience that Eva was either this really bad person who did a lot wrong or a good person who changed a lot of people's lives for the better. McCrimmon doesn't use her performance to judge Eva Peron either way. She just shows you who Eva Peron was as a person and leaves it up to you to decide. And that shows a lot of nuance in a musical theater performance that I think is very brave, especially for a historic institution like the Muny. As Juan Peron, Paulo Zot achieves a great balance of the calculative coldness of his presidential persona, exemplified in his introduction, The Art of the Possible, but also the warmth that he shows towards Eva, which was evident even in the song where they first meet, Surprisingly Good for You. Zot's very controlled baritone makes She Is a Diamond, the song where he comes to terms with his wife's mortality, truly heartbreaking. Muny veteran Omar Lopez Cepero is great as Che, a role that he has played multiple times, and he plays him at the Muny with a compelling presence and a sharp tenor that brings a hard edge to Che's cynical attitude towards the Perons. Lopez Cepero's renditions of Oh What a Circus, High Flying Adored, and The Money Kept Rolling In were dramatic standouts. They made for a perfect match against Katerina McCrimmon's Eva. Rounding out the main cast are ensemble members Daniel Torres as Agustin Magaldi, the famous Argentinian singer who gives a lovely performance of Night of a Thousand Stars, and does well at portraying how jilted he feels when Eva breaks up with him, and Sabrina Santana as Juan Peron's unnamed ex-lover, who gives a magnetic, powerfully still rendition of the breakup song Another Suitcase in Another Hall. Probably the second most iconic song in the show and my personal favorite. And all the credit for the musical performances being as good as they are go to musical director Ben Whiteley, who conducts the cast and the Muny Orchestra through every possible level an Argentinian symphonic pop opera can go. There's salsa, there's tango, there's jazz, there's rock. Honestly, you really cannot go wrong with early period Andrew Lloyd Webber, for the most part.
Benjamin is honest as coconuts.
Yes, I joke, but Evita really is a masterwork of musical theater, and the Muny treats it that way, giving a production that is very different from others that I've seen, because they're considerably lighter ones that treat it more like a performance, and less like a character study of a very specific time and place, which I think the Muny takes that road. It's probably the most authentically Argentinian I have seen Evita, and I have to admire admire everyone involved with the Muny's production for sticking to their guns, giving the audience something entirely new, something that they are going to look back on. Dare I say it, even a standard upon which future productions of Evita are judged. But did you see the Muny's production of Evita? If so, what did you think about it? Whatever it is, whatever you think, comment below and let me know. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any more St. Louis musical theater reviews coming very soon. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, long live the musical!